Hey there, Crittermanders, and welcome back to Cosmic Crit for another Hylaxian Serenity-filled episode of Starfinder Adventures. This is your GM Patrick here again, recording this intro late at night, editing this episode, and getting ready next week to play more Starfinder and Pathfinder with my friends. This week, though, marked the release of one more awesome, amazing Starfinder cool rulebook that we're going to be talking a little bit more about in the coming weeks. I was able to get my hands on Alien Archive 4 this week, and I must say that I'm very impressed with the new enemy types. There's new, playable species, of course, and just the amount of flavor and lore that this book injects into Starfinder. I'm going to be parsing through it for weeks to come. I will give a greater, more in-depth review in the future if that's what you guys want, but as a hint, if you have your digital or physical copy already, go ahead and flip to page 138. Check out one of my favorite new playable Starfinder creations in the form of the Warlandisi, a small form species with preternatural good luck capabilities. That race, along with the precog playtest that Jabert mentioned a few weeks back that is still ongoing, would be a magic powerhouse. Their stat bonuses would also make them great soldiers and envoys and Solarians. There are a ton of other great additions to Starfinder in Alien Archive 4, so if you're not subscribed, go ahead and pick up your copy this week. Head on down to your friendly local gaming store or go to paizo.com to get your digital version. Reserve it now. Anyway, that is it for this week's intro. We're back to the riveting skill checks and logic puzzles that are the Trials of Hylax. In an episode with rolls that are going to have you clawing at your nails, perhaps, if you're one of my players, pulling out your hair. This is episode 163, and it is entitled Nuar and Peace.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Join us on a pacifist run of one of the most darling Indian games of all time in this week's episode of Undercrit. This is your GM Patrick, your genocidal monster kid here, welcoming you back to the ruins of this forgotten land, plagued by monsters and skeletons. Joining me in steering their way through the complicated moral dilemmas of the game are my 5 friends and your friendly NPCs. To my right, ask her to show you mercy, and it will likely mean a needle in your neck. It's Rebecca rolling with Zinnia.
Hello.
Across from her, it's a cool skeleton dude in a hoodie who wants to be friends. It's Drew delivering Echo 7.
All those dogs.
To my right, navigating his hearth through a necrotic bullet time maze, it's Tyler dredging up to Vasho.
My moat gives off a warming glow, and it fills me with determination.
Across from him, this greater dog soldier doesn't want to play fetch no mo. It's Jabert playing his Trest.
Dog police.
Bark, bark, bark. And across the digital table, this little flower is actually an ancient evil ready to harvest your soul. Why, it's Miles mixing it up with Sprouts.
Good evening.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Wait, what was that? Because I didn't write it down.
Undertale.
Okay, I've never even heard of that.
Oh, no.
If you want to head over to the moreyournerd.com, we have an episode on it.
Cut that. No, just cut it. Just cut.
We're gonna
Don't
get
let Rebecca
emails.
say that on the internet.
I believe my review of that game was Undertale, more like overrated.
I don't think it was. I think you were pretty okay with it.
Wait, are we making enemies right now with the internet?
Yes.
I don't even know what this is. Okay.
Undertale has a very vocal fan base.
We're gonna get more emails about this than our political joke that Tyler made a couple weeks ago.
Oh no! Don't bring.
Can I admit something? I don't know what Undertale is.
Yeah, well, you're fine. So it's like a distillation of a lot of things, including Mother Earth. Earthbound. What was the other game that was super similar to it? Cave Story. So just kind of like a modern story put into your NES, SNES kind of packaging, and told a very good story. And one of the things in the game is very famous for, which I didn't know when we did our review way back when, was you can pacifist run the entire game by not killing any of the enemies in the game.
Yep.
I didn't know about that when I was going through it, but that's a major, good ending that you can get. I brought it up, of course, this week because you guys are doing your pacifist run of Starfinder. No combats anymore from here on out, right?
Sure.
I really hope he didn't waste any feats or what have you on combat feats ever again. If last minutes,
literally all I could do was
from now on.
Yeah, all I could do was select a combat feat for this level. So
if listeners, last week's thrill a minute diplomatic mission wasn't enough for you, it was that entire trial. The first trial of Hylax was a CR9 encounter. So that entire 12 hours or so that you spent in the portal, and you guys indeed did get the S rating as far as first contact went, and that was enough to put you over and level you up.
Is this S rating like the Japanese video game S rating, or is this like the second grade U, S, and E?
Well,
rating?
given that we were just talking about video games, I would assume it's the video game version.
It's of course Japanese S class.
What's this U, S, and E thing?
Unsatisfactory, satisfactory, and exceeding expectations.
Is this new? When did this happen?
I think it just depends on what.
I don't think it's new.
It's not new.
Yeah, I think it's just.
I mean, it's usually used for like conduct kind of things. It's not for like how good at English you are. It's like, do you pay attention in class? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Mom, when you're listening to this, did I do that? Did I get E's? Did I get S?
I'm guessing you got U's since you don't even know what the unsatisfactory, satisfactory system is.
Rebecca, that was so mean.
That was a pretty harsh burn coming from Rebecca, who is usually not the one to do these kind of things to Tyler.
I'm devastated.
We'll see
I can't believe you hurt my friend, Rebecca.
We'll see if you guys can get a better rating. Trial number 2 coming up this week. But between last week and this week, when we played, that was enough to get you to level 8. Correct? Level 8 is where we're having this campaign. It's hard to believe because we've been playing Starfinder since 2017, and this is only the second time you guys have done this, leveled up to level 8. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I was reflecting to Drew the other day about like our season 2 characters never even got to this stage. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So this would have been back in book 4 of Dead Sons was the last time you went up to level 8. So yeah, like we normally do when we start the episode, whenever we level up, just go around the horn, go around the table here, and say something that happens, something your character got on level up. Jabert, do you want to start off? I think you said maybe it was a quiet level.
Yeah, pretty quiet level for Mystics this time. My channel skill, or my skill channel, went up, which I mean it's a +1 to athletics and intimidate, so that's not the most exciting thing in the world. Apart from that, I don't know, my bab went up. I swapped out.
That's normally not so important for your mystics and technomancers and the like, but it's got to be nice for.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like I'm keeping up with the enemy's AC, and that's at least a little encouraging. I also swapped out necromantic revitalization for life bubble, since Tyler's no longer partially undead, and also it never worked for him anyway. so just swapping that out. So now we're all breathing good air, no matter where we go.
Let's go next to our pair of operatives, and we did get a couple of operative level ups this week, right? Both Miles and Rebecca, who wants to jump in.
Well, if you're talking about pairs, then you got to talk about the plant first, right?
Oh, yeah. So you are full-blooded level 8.
Yeah, I mean, I get something, but I mean, it's still kind of a quiet level for me.
Yeah, because this is a level where you can take like a previous level of operative exploit, but there's no new ones yet.
Right.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you end up taking?
I took something a little I guess a little more selfish, and and whether or not it's useful will depend on entirely my roles, but it's something that I wanted to have just in case, and that's Stalwart. If you succeed at a fortitude save against an effect that normally requires multiple successful saves to cure, such as disease or poison, that effect immediately ends and is cured with a single successful save.
Oh, yeah. That's not bad to have at all.
Yeah, well, especially because Fort's my weakest one. If I happen to pass, then I don't have to worry about it again. And if I'm caught in a situation where I'm trying to save every time, one of those has to take, and hopefully will end that nightmare for me.
Yeah. Oh boy, howdy. You don't want to be in that position, but if you are, your stalwart detective will not fall. Hopefully. Rebecca, what about you? You're catching up here with a level 7 operative, right?
Yeah. So due to my 1 level dip in biohacker, I'm 1 level behind Miles in operative levels. So I am now getting uncanny agility, which he has had for a level. But that makes me immune to flat-footed condition, which is pretty awesome. And also I wanted to mention I missed this when we got to level 6, but my theme ability at level 6 allows me to reroll a skill check to recall knowledge, which I feel like might come in handy at some point.
Nah, you never identify things.
Yeah.
That'll never happen.
Now I have that on my character sheet, so I won't forget again. But that's not new technically, but I just realized it. So.
Did I miss it? Did you already say specialization mastery?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention it, but yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, I guess I get that too.
That's the raddest thing. That's the raddest thing in the world. if you're asking me, that thing is so good.
Do you want to explain it? Because I haven't looked at this for a week.
It's take 10 on your 2 the specialization skills.
Which is stealth and acrobatics for me.
Yeah. Crazy.
So we talked about this a little bit with Miles' operative. When doing a trick attack, you can take 10 with the trick attack. Now it doesn't guarantee that you trick everything, but most baddies that are your level or lower, you'll probably hit.
Hold on. So take 10 that doesn't take any amount of time to take effect. Like it's an immediate thing.
Not with that ability. With that ability, You can do it just instantly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because whenever you got to roll stealth or acrobatics, you can just have 10 plus your bonus. It's so rad.
Including trick attack. That's really nice.
Including with trick attack. It's crazy. Yeah. So good.
Yeah. Normally you wouldn't be able to if there were a fight going on or stress or something else distracting you, but this skill specifically outlines that is for you to be focused under duress. All right, a couple more crew of Midnight Squad. Drew, you say you got a combat feat.
Oh, yeah.
How's that going to help us in our pacifist run? I don't know.
May not at all. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, whenever I get up into melee range, is this robot covered in grease? Is he all oiled up? He's a slippery shooter. So I took the slippery shooter feat, which is a +3 to AC against attacks of opportunity you provoke by making ranged attacks. We'll go very nicely with mobility, which I also have for moving through spaces, so I can actually get up into people's faces and maybe provide some flanking and things like that, and not take such a hit to my ability to do stuff.
I went and looked it up because I was like, oh, surely Drew is wrong. But no, it's +3. That's so odd. Literally and figuratively.
It's a weird.
The bonus is 3 and not 2 or 4.
Well, it's so curious that they were like, Well, we don't want it to be as good as mobility.
Yeah. It might behoove you to move and then shoot. But yeah, sometimes you want to do that heavy fire and you're like, let's go. That makes a lot of sense. Did Andis 147 have slippery shooter? Is that a prerequisite to the
I
shot
think
on
that's
the
a
run?
character operations manual.
So maybe it wasn't possible.
No, it was a CRB. That was a CRB one. But I mean, I talked about it like 4 or 5 times, and I just never did it. I would always find something else to work with.
I think you had the shot on the run, which does require mobility.
Right. Yeah, that's the one where you move between. You can like
the move doesn't
during your move, you take a shot and then
provoke. No, it does provoke.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, shot on the run is you can sort of while you're moving, you can make a shot, and then so you can like run from one cover to another cover.
I know,
But
yeah,
there
I would love
between a heavy combat range character who might want to do that heavy fire and a long armed.
Yeah,
interesting. Tyler, you were going to say something?
Oh, I really want to play a shot on the run style, like a very hit and run tactic, type character someday.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I think the way to do that would be you want to get one of those multi-arm alien races you hear so much about, and just have like melee weapons and ranged weapons and
everything
ready for everything.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do back in old Andis times, but just like we had one too many combats where there was just no cover whatsoever, and it was just like standing in an open field shooting at each other. Felt like a Revolutionary War battle.
Don't fire until
redcoats
you
are
see
coming. Get them!
the whites of their massive jaws.
That's true. That does happen a lot where we're just I don't know, we're like being in cover isn't all that advantageous, or the sight lines from cover aren't that advantageous. And so, yeah, there's very rarely, I mean, I remember you even had didn't you have like the barricade feat?
Yeah, I had the
or
barricade
something?
feat. That was my very first feat. And then I tried it, like I used it once and I was just like, this is crap. I'm never going to use this again.
Level 1 feat selection. It's like, what are you going to, what's going to
I
be?
remember the first time you used that, and then like I think we got done recording and you just
Well, I got shot like 3 times in a row. It was like it's like I built the cover all behind me or something.
Andis is leaning up against it. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Good times. Tyler, bring us home with Devasho. What's happening with Solarians this level?
I think for a lot of Solarians, this would be a bigger level than it is. In particular for Devasho, this is a level where you get a Stellar Revelation. Which are like the big Solarian ability powers. And there are a lot of really, really good options. However, for melee Solarians, this is kind of a tax. This is a point where you kind of have to take this. Alindra had this, and that is Glow of Life. It's an ability that lets you regain hit points. And you're pretty fragile as a Solarian. I'm a big target. I find myself in the need of hit points a lot. This is a pretty easy, just like, boom, you do it. You do it while you're attuned in a battle. You get 3 times your Solarian level in hit points for level 8. 8 times 3 is a bigger number than 8. And, that's obviously quite nice to be able to do. So there were other options.
2 times out of combat, right? It's
2 times out of
your
combat.
level. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 times.
Or when not
combat.
attuned.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of felt like I had to do that. There were some other ones that I considered. Another really popular one at this level is Defy Gravity, which lets you fly. Thought about that one, but I just thought like a flying Devasho was almost too funny instead of cool.
Join me in the sky. Come on, Devasho.
Yeah, and I might take that one later.
Wings of laugh.
I might take it later. I think once at level 12, you can actually just stay up there instead of having to like descend. There's a bunch of caveats to how you fly, but Glow of Life or whatever it's called. I should know what it's called. Glow of Life is what I chose this level. Will hopefully keep him alive.
Awesome. Well, that is it for our level 8 Level up review. You guys are way too powerful, but none of that's going to help you in the rest of this diplomacy focused AP. Let's return to said forever reliquary, get back to these trials of Hylax. But before we do, let's talk to our own little Sprouts Marlowe to tell us what happened last time on Cosmic Crit.
So these Hylax religious cats, they want to put us through these trials, right? To see if we're worthy. As if we didn't come with a pronkin' resume a light year long, but whatever. Ain't no use crying over spilt black milk. We're here. And we're going to go through these trials. For this first round, first contact without conflict. Boy, howdy, this is right up our alley. With a private eye and a scientist in the mix, recon, gathering data. Yeah, we got this covered. Turns out these LSPs, odd creatures. Communicate by color and thought. But they're all right by me. And by the end of our visit, they throw us a little party. Must be that natural midnight company charm. But we ain't done yet. We gotta see what happens to round 2.
And don't hate me, but oh, wait, here it is. I think I was about to say I've lost my notes from last week. The LSPs were luminescent sentient pantones. Right?
Yay!
All right, we figured it out. We got there. Right, that is indeed where we last left off. Tuva welcoming you all back in to the council room here, pleased with how things have gone. In concluding the trial, the rest of the Sacred Council will move off, and she says, we will convene here tomorrow for the second trial. Until then, you're allowed to go back to your rooms or continue to explore the reliquary. She'll kind of wave her arms, and you guys can disperse. Outside, you see a snoozing Kearth, the large Han, holding his swoop hammer like perhaps a stuffed animal in his spider-like arms. And he wakes up, and as he sees you coming out, will hurry up beside you, Devasho, and says, my siblings and I were wondering, sir, if perhaps some of your crew had time to do some training while you are here. If anyone in your squad is freed, we've rented out some of the courts in the gym for weapons practice, and we're wondering if you wanted to spar.
Devasho kind of thinks for a second, and he says,
yes, it has been a while since I have been able to exercise since we have spent time here, and I think sparring would do us both some good. Let me see if Trest and maybe Echo is interested.
And
okay. I take back the nice things I said about Tyler earlier.
You Sprouts wouldn't spar.
Sprouts doesn't even walk.
You know what, guys? I've never seen Sprouts walk this entire AP. I'm not sure.
I think he might be rooted to the spot. he might be in a flower pot, guys. I don't know. Trest is definitely down to clown.
Yeah, Devasho should come up to Trest and Echo, and cool. Yeah, we'll play some hoops on the courts.
B-ball.
Yeah, so it's a few hours, and you might be tired from the trials, but for the most part, as you standing around and watching Sprouts or Zydia like flashing colors and stuff.
We know what it's like to be picked last for the team.
Yeah, so maybe you got some pent up energy. So that they are interested in doing some weapons training and things like that, and you guys can do whatever you'd like here to try to impress them or train them. You have a skill check perhaps associated with something you'd like to roll here, something not diplomacy related.
Or I could do an athletics if that's okay.
Yeah, to do what?
Shirin
jujitsu.
Yeah, I think it's perhaps like there's some. I'm trying to avoid the word acrobatic. There's probably I'm thinking like there's some sort of climbing techniques that we're trying here that I'm trying to work on a thing where like I climb up a wall and I sort of kick off of the wall and slice with my presumably like a wooden sword of some sort.
Replace wall with your large Trox teammate, and we got a deal.
Yeah, there it is.
Running up the shield of this giant Trox, and
that's right. Yeah, I run up the spines on his back, and then he launches me off into the air, perhaps, and I do a mighty leap, like so.
See if you can impress them with this.
Yeah. Absolutely not. Natural 1. Got a 20.
That's not an automatic fail, but
no,
it's
not. The DC is 20 on this.
Yeah!
As poorly as anyone could, but still effectively. So.
Right, but it's still it's like I do a really bad job at it, but it's like still very impressive to people who like don't know what it's supposed to look like.
I guess you failed upwards in this regard.
Right. I really failed up here. Yeah.
Oh,
good work, team.
Does anybody else want to try a different skill?
Yeah, I was gonna do the jump off the wall and do a move thing, but I'll have to figure something else out.
I don't think you can do it worse.
I could do it exactly the same and still pass. Let's see here. I'll do an athletics check to show them all a super core workout that will really, improve their fighting stance.
Mm-hmm. Go right ahead.
It's a 31.
Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, so they'll take all this in time and perhaps show you some of their, Han moves. Might be of more importance to Devasho because it's all about them like kind of throwing their body weight around, spinning a web, and like kind of like coming down from people on above, swinging on some webs like a wall crawler would.
Any size there?
What?
That web, is it any size?
No, it's only for large creatures, mainly, because it's got to support their body weight. So it's got to be a bulky web, is what I'm trying to say. They can try to spin something very small, fine for you, but just wouldn't feel right. Anything you want to do, Devasho, in spending your time with these Han?
I mean, I guess I could roll Intimidate to show them a few ways to demoralize foes. Maybe. Okay. Not effective against Swarm, probably, but effective against any, maybe space pirates, I guess.
You can demoralize Swarm.
I figured that's a will thing, and they're pretty much guaranteed not to fail will things.
I also figured it was a fear thing, which I think they're all immune to fear.
Yeah.
It is sense dependent, and that is the only qualifier for demoralize as the skill action of intimidate.
Oh.
So it's so long as they can see or sense your size itself could be demoralizing if you want to use it as a standard action in combat. And certainly these Han could use pointers in that regard, and they are also using perhaps their size to try and intimidate foes. So
sweet.
So long as a target can be shaken, which is the effect of demoralize, it would have an effect.
Okay. I'm going to use a little sidereal influence here as well. Try to get as big of a number as I can.
Ooh. Gaming the system, eh?
Gaming the system. Wow.
Number 1 on the dice.
I'm just so glad I said I was going to
do sidereal influence. Would you roll on that dice too, Tyler? How are you starting this episode off?
Yeah, Tyler. Tell us.
Yeah, Devasho and Trest are just the high-fiving each other, just like we did a great job here today.
Prest almost broke his leg jumping off of Devasho, but he's still cool. He still managed to get away with it.
All right. Had a teammate now.
I take it back. I'm really glad we don't have a real combat in this episode because my rolls are fine.
Tyler, you got a book reroll if you want to use it right now.
No, I think you said the DC was 20, and correct me if I'm wrong, but 19 plus 1 is 20.
That was for athletics. No, they need a lot more impressing in things charisma related. Unfortunately, that is a fail.
I'm really glad that I rolled a 1 on my best skill. We just were talking about this. We were just talking about how when you roll total dung on the limited skills that you have as certain classes, and it's like my one. This is like the one that I think I've rolled intimidate twice in this entire AP, and I'm just so happy that my plus 18 managed to do bupkis. So happy. So happy.
What makes you feel any better? They don't have it as a trained skill either, so they try and copy you and are not able to beat a 20. But they still don't learn anything super effective, unfortunately.
I imagine this is the equivalent of like walking in like just like a group of 5-year-olds like trying to flex in a mirror with no muscles at all. Like, oh yeah, you guys look real scurry.
Awesome. So this is maybe like 2 or 3 hours you guys are working out with them, indeed doing some like slow motion like combat maneuvers and things like that, and they'll thank you for your time and offer to serve you some food in the galley where you see Rackarant perhaps up and still in the kitchen there. Anything else you guys want to do? You have a full evening. You can rest up if need be before trials start the next day.
Xenia, I think, she's talked to the one medicine guy that I know of, right? I mean, I assume that there's nobody else that's really science oriented. But I wanted to know if there was somewhere that she could learn sort of about the history of this place, like a museum or something. See if, she has interest in culture and how groups of individuals sort of evolve over time. So is there anything to that effect?
Well, I think Tress has already been there, but if you want to spend time there, the Reliquary's library is open technically to everyone, although it is frowned upon if you don't wear gloves and like a mask and stuff. But yeah, this is doing some training in the library. If you have an appropriate skill, you can. If you want to make friends with Hariskor, the librarian, you can try and do that. But searching through the records and finding information about the Reliquary is going to be a mysticism check.
Okay.
So,
not my best skill. Can I take 10 on this per my new special? No. Oh no, that's a specialization skill.
Well, you can always take 10 so long as you're like not under duress or.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, right? So
yeah,
I'll take 10 on that.
So what would 10 plus your bonus be?
Actually, that's not going to do me a lot of good. It's only a 17. I only get a plus 7 to mysticism checks.
Okay, so do you want to try to roll?
That's probably not enough. Yeah, so I'll roll.
Sure.
Yeah, it's better. It's a 22.
Yeah, so certainly a couple of things you find out, all of the primer information that you would get normally walking in here the first time, some texts detailing Hylax as the goddess of diplomacy, first contact, peace and friendship, and see kind of like a record of peoples and places that have followed her, starting certainly with the Sheeran, but moving on into far off places in the galaxy, like the Trox and Nechak. There's many texts about Sheeran religious scholars, including multiple works about how their species perhaps rejected the swarm and was embraced by Hylax during their exodus because of that. These texts also perhaps lead back to some more biological information. The Sheeran learned that before they became swarm, they were a race known as the Kucharn, which is something that you've heard before, and it's is difficult because that is a gap piece of information is like when that transition happened. But the texts here seem to indicate that there were Kucharn even before the Shirin Exodus that were members of Hylax's faith.
Hold on, I have a question. So Kucharn, I mean, that's what the swarm sort of evolved from. Is that what the Shirin evolved from too, or?
Yeah, the Shirin were a race known as the Kucharn. The swarm itself, kind of rose about because of many different aliens kind of like incorporating the data and the DNA of alien races.
Okay, so we don't know the origins of, like, the true origins of the swarm. It's not just a simple offshoot of the same.
Yeah, what exactly they were, you're not sure here. From the treatises here, though, it's saying the Kucharn, some of them were part of Hylax's faith before perhaps they became swarm, and then maybe had to leave that once their turn to it. With a 20, I will say we can continue on our talk of different cultures who worship Hylax. Hylax was among the Kucharn before Shirin ever existed. The goddess ascended from being supposedly a mortal queen, perhaps amongst them, to a goddess, and from these writings, it is said that her divine touch allowed the Shirins to be created within the swarm generations later. The Trox from the Leovaran moon and Nachak believe that their leaders and religious figures were also perhaps mortal reincarnations of Hylax, who once lived on Nightjack. Perhaps Devasha might know about this, but indeed many of the religious leaders among the Hylaxian church on Nachak believe kind of their decisions are mandated, or like that is the hand of Hylax working through them, speaking through them, things like that. So it's maybe a little more austere of a group than Hylaxians out here in the vast.
It's true.
That's all you're able to get from this trip to the library. There's plenty more information. You can come back here. You can roll again at some point. Anything else, Sprouts? You've already kind of solved the mystery of the old Forever Reliquary.
Yeah, so I mean, he's already kind of satisfied his curiosity, so he's probably gonna cool his heels at the local watering hole.
Well, you know for certain that daiquiri the detective is enjoying is nothing but poison, so make me a fortitude save and let's see if you're as stalwart as they say. That's a joke, Miles. You're fine. Nothing bad happens in the Forever Reliquary. Aww. Are you guys ready to get on to trial number 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be awesome. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh, calm down there. Let's not hype it up that much, Miles.
This is going to be probably the best encounter we have ever had in Cosmic Crit history.
Honestly, I like trial number 1 a lot.
Well, I've hyped it up, Patrick, so wow me.
I like pretending to be little aliens that light up inside that you don't know how to talk to you because they don't make noises. Right. Let's see here. To my notes. As you guys indeed are brought back to the portal room by Lachern and Kiarth and the other Han here who will stand guard out front. You see the Sacred Council once more in their resplendent robes, including Tuva in the front of the group here. And as they come in, the entire Forever Reliquary will make another quick shift through space where it feels all at once like you're speeding up and slowing down in kind of different directions. Not dissimilar to how it feels entering into drift space, but definitely a very different thing for something as large as the comet to be moving through space like this. And then all of a sudden you are you are here, you're in this room, and Tuvo will gesture to the screen, which magically starts now showing a hilly and coniferous landscape blanketed with dark green trees and a misty haze. And she'll say, "This planet is called Nakondis. It is the primary planet orbiting its star in the Nakon system, settled a few years ago by Abadar Corps, though we will be focusing on 2 newcomers on this side of the colony planet. Recently, 2 different groups have settled the planet's lower continent of Kalum, a contingent of Goran colonists and an assemblage of Nuar miners. Unfortunately, the 2 haven't gotten along well, and a bloody conflict currently seems imminent. Your trial is... We require you, through Hylax, to go and broker a peace treaty between these 2 groups. Find a way for both of them to coexist in the same area. The solution has to be something that they can live with long term, or else they will go back to fighting as soon as you leave. This will not be easy, but Hylax often calls on us to solve difficult, if not seemingly impossible problems like this one. We will be watching you just as we did in your first trial to see how you do. Once more, you will have 12 hours to complete this trial. It is not much time, but it is possible.
Just cryogenically freeze them all. Boom.
You don't have the technical know-how nor the steady hands to pull off that kind of operation, Miles.
Here's a
I don't
wild
know.
card idea.
Maybe we do. I'm willing to bet their lives on it.
They both can't kill each other if they're dead.
No, they can't kill each other if they're frozen.
Oh boy.
That is a long-standing
Can she give us any? Can she give us any further information? I mean,
yes, like why they're fighting.
yeah, like what
Questions?
Can you tell us more about why they're not getting along? What's their beef?
There's some like scanning, and perhaps Hariskor will bring over, like a small tablet to Tuva, who's like looking through the data here, and it seems they have gathered, and Tuva will relay this to you, that the Nuar mining camp to the west perhaps has had some environmental effects on this Goran nursery to the east. There is technically the Nuar miners arrived first here, so maybe feel like they have a greater claim to the area, but both sides are incredibly entrenched and have already set up very large settlements, and it does not seem like either plans to move anytime soon. As the portal opens up for you guys, you don't see any civilization or any encampment here. Tuvo will point out that the portal is opening in like a space kind of equidistant between the 2 major settlements, the Nuar and the Goran one. And remember, the peace accord must be long lasting, or your work will be for naught. Get to the bottom of things and prevail in Hylax's name. There's a number of like small boxes and perhaps bags you can take with you, and she'll say, "We have crafted tents and seating and flooring for you all to set up as a neutral base for each side to come together to negotiate this peace. Good luck, guardians of the good, heroes of Hylax." Unless you guys have any other questions, you're on your own.
Oh boy.
Whew.
There are indeed 3 very large kind of pavilion style tents and some other pop-up furniture and things that you can bring on here with you. And it's just like a clearing in between the misty trees as you step through the portal and into a fairly chilly afternoon, perhaps, on the planet Nakondus. It has been some time since we've been back here, folks. The air here chilly and still as the sun peaks above the misty, hazy, forested hills here. You guys can hear the distant sound of what were they? Kaukarikis?
Yeah.
Was that on Nakondus?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, is this where the first book of
Yes.
Aeon Throne took place?
Season 2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Kaukarikis, those were on.
Is that Castrovel?
Those Castrovel? Yeah.
So yeah. 'cause these
what was the
were-
little creature? There were little creatures on Nakondus.
They
Those
were
were
the electric monkeys, right?
Yeah, the electric boogaloos.
The G. Would they start with the G?
Gumbrams. Gimgrams.
All I know is that like when
Everyone
like,
make up a
okay.
name for them until I can figure out what they are.
Blors.
I'm searching our website to try to figure it out.
They were.
Did you say
they were-
Gilmore Girls?
Yes.
Gilmore.
Yes,
Hobgars.
They were lore lies.
The Hobgars. The Hobgars.
Hobgars. He's got it.
That's it.
Yeah, there's a Hobgar named Desire. All right, well, I'm glad I messed up my notes. The distant sound of Hobgars echo through the electrified forest
What's
here
that?
as you.
It's an echo joke. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry
Oh
about
boy! Oh no, Drew.
I'm glad you ruined the flow for that.
Yeah, you guys are set up as mediators between these two groups. What would you like to do first?
I don't know.
Should have asked this back there, but what's on Nakondus that these groups are like settled here for? Did they come for a particular resource? Do we know?
Someone
Is it too
asked
late now?
them perhaps the groups when you speak with them, but as a colony planet is it's new, it's untouched. For the pack to colonize places, they have to prove there's not a sentient race already there. It allows them to bring out people and settle new cities. And yes, indeed, this first group of colonists were from Abadar Core, but it looks like these two groups in a different area. One of them are Nuar miners, and Nuar, for a reminder, is one of my favorite Starfinder alien species. They're giant bull people, magical minotaurs of sorts. And the Gorin assembly, the Gorin species are a plant-like beings. So not too far off from a Raxlite, but they are indeed much taller. They're medium-sized creatures. So is that well, I guess I should say, starting off here, what's your life science bonus, Rebecca?
20?
Yeah, your bonus is 20. The DC for life science check recalling information about these two races, these two species, is 16. So you know everything in Alien Archive 1 and 2 for Gorins and Nuars, if you want to look that up and have that information on hand.
Xenia has the PDFs loaded on her data pad.
Yeah, I mean, that's the pretty basic one. So that actually, believe it or not, that alone gives you a +2 bonus, individual bonus on the initial checks to talking to these two groups. Okay, starting off strong.
So is there how are we feeling? Which group should we approach first?
Well, we have a Raxolite. Maybe the Gorin would be more willing, perhaps, to speak to us with someone who kind of vaguely is similar to them biologically.
Absolutely. Maybe? Patrick, can we go see the Gorn?
Yeah. So do you want to arrive unannounced, or do you want to try and make contact like over comms first, or what would you like to do?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's why I asked that.
I don't know, guys. Would we really call them in, or do you think we would just kind of walk up and say hi?
Do we know their number? Is that something you can just do?
Text them.
Yeah.
I think if I were doing this, I would just walk up to the camp. I mean, as long as I didn't think that they were going to start shooting at anything moving.
You don't want to slide into their DMs to be like, "Yo, heard y'all have some problems with some Nuars."
Yeah, I know that's like a little creepy too. That's actually, I think that's more creepy to be like, I've got some information.
Somebody told me that they didn't like you.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Xenia is not diplomatic, but I would probably just walk up to the camp personally. But I leave that to whoever is our most diplomatic character.
I've got plus 15 to diplomacy.
Not bad, Miles. Not bad.
And Devasho has 14.
You got me by one, plant guy.
But your rolls are better than me, so you've actually got me
whoa, I haven't rolled
5 or
this
6.
entire episode yet, so hold them horses, buddy.
That's true. We'll see how you're doing this episode. You're probably better than me, though, considering. I think we're gonna go with just walk in there.
Yeah, we'll just kind of mosey on in as you do. Confident, looking straight ahead, not making eye contact with anybody, but yeah, anybody.
Okay. Well, I should mention they are a number of miles away, and it will probably take the better part of an hour to get to either of them from your kind of like central locale.
I guess it's time to work on our cool guy walking poses.
With that, should we split up? Because
Well,
we
I was
can
going
be
to ask that too. Like,
Or do we
have
wanna go
Devasho
to
be one
Death
team
March mode?
captain?
And start hustling.
because we still have communication with each other even if we're separated, right?
Yeah,
So
testing
you're
it
banking on there
here.
definitely not being combat and splitting the difference.
There does seem to be a geosync method of communication because you're getting like full bars this far from either settlement. So
I mean, sure. I mean, if you want Devasho to go talk to the Noir, he's big, they're big. I don't know, maybe there's something there. And you want Sprouts to go talk to the plant people, which is very plantist of us, but you know, maybe that's a good thing. That I wouldn't be opposed to that kind of thing.
First of all, we take offense to the term plant people.
plantist.
Yeah. I said it was a little plantist.
Okay, so let's go with that. Who wants to be on Team Goran? We've got Sprouts and who else?
I'll back Sprouts
I was
up.
thinking the three of you, and then Devasho and Xenia could go off to the other side, unless Tress feels strongly one way or the other.
No, not particularly.
That maxes up our diplomacy on both sides, right?
Oh, we got two pretty diplomatic cats leading both of these trips.
We're the shrubbery soldiers.
Nice.
So who wants to go first? Who do we want to talk to first?
Well,
I guess I should ask Miles or Tyler this.
Yep. Miles hasn't rolled yet. He has to go first.
Oh yeah, good one. Pulling it out.
I don't know. I got picked last in the little games, so maybe I should go last in the.
Tyler's already rolled 2 1s. Give him this.
Technically,
Miles.
you would have been picked second to last. Rebecca's character would have been picked last.
Right.
Sure. So I guess Sprouts would be, obviously riding on top of his trusty buddy, and I would imagine we kind of would try to walk in there.
Yeah.
Maybe not with any sense of authority, not to throw a weight around, but definitely like we have a purpose.
Right. So heading to the Goran settlement known as Wintergrace Nursery, is indeed, after about an hour or so walking through the forest, shooing off hobguards the entire way, a thriving looking settlement with some very high tech looking kind of pods that seem to be well integrated to the surrounding ecosystem, kind of like built in to the hills here. Give me a culture check, and I'll tell you what you know about the Goran, perhaps.
It's 26.
Maybe not unlike Raxolite, they are a little closed off, as the Goran history has several incidents of their near extinction. Goris Prime is now currently thriving, but there are large contingents of their kind who are indeed seeking to spread across the universe, to be fruitful and to make colonies such as this to just ensure the continuation of their species. Coming into Wintergrace Nursery from afar, they perhaps ask you first, like, did you guys come all the way from Madelon's Landing? But as you explain what is happening here, and trying to weasel your way in to negotiating with the Goran, give me first a diplomacy check to kind of like get your way into Wintergrace Nursery. Okay. And these other two can aid.
Oof. It's an 18.
Yeah. So Echo 7 and Tress, do you auto aid on a diplomacy?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Plus 12.
Yeah. This first check is only a DC 20, and that's to kind of get you through the doors here. But you meet with a large collection of Goran. It seems like 10 or 12 kind of, they don't even seem to introduce themselves in positions of power or anything. They introduce themselves as, xenobiologists and arborists and things like that. They'll come out and hear you out as potential negotiators between them and the Nuar. Doing this next diplomacy check is going to take a little time, as you have to kind of convince them to do so. So that could be another diplomacy check. If there's another skill you think might be relevant here, you can try and roll that. You want to move on to intimidate is an option. Might be a little bit more difficult to.
No, intimidate's not where I want to go with this.
Well, and it doesn't have to necessarily.
Bluff doesn't really. I don't like that one either. So I probably will do diplomacy. It's not the highest in terms of my options. Bluff would be my highest, but I don't think there's anything for Sprouts to bluff about right now. And Sprouts is not. I mean, because he's trying to find a peaceful solution. He's not looking to deceive anybody about anything. So he just wants to cut to the chase.
Sure. So feel free to just go ahead and roll me that second diplomacy check. We'll see if we can help from these cats.
That was a 33.
This one you blew out of the water, and all the Gorans that are assembled here, think that maybe an outside mediator is a good idea, and might lead to the Nuar finally coming to their senses. They will arrange to travel back to your pavilion and meet up there, and will give you a time frame. The method that they choose to get there, and some of the preparations they have to make. They'll say they'll be able to get there in 2 hours travel time.
Ooh, cool.
And hope to meet with you, the delegation that they send there, and they nominate just 3 of their group here to come back and meet with you first.
Sprouts will definitely kind of let Devasho know, because I know that this is all going on concurrently, but at the end of this, that what the plan was in terms of we've convinced them we've done our job here. We convinced them to talk. Now it's up to you.
Great. Let's move on indeed to the Nuar camp, and remind me that it's just Devasho and Zinnia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I hope that doesn't
Team Mystic
that's
Science.
not bad.
Yeah. Do you have any ranks in diplomacy? Can you aid?
I have 3 ranks in diplomacy, so I have a +6.
Okay, yeah. You say you have to roll, but I mean, you can still aid me. That's excellent.
Right. So getting to the Nuar encampment, it looks like a much more austere, corporate-owned mining operation that you see here. A lot of what seems to be going on seems to be happening underground, but there are large, almost barracks-looking 2-story buildings where it seems like people live, and there's like a main street of small businesses kind of associated with the mine. And as you're let in, you're brought to the mine supervisor. There's one head honcho in the name of a Nuar mine supervisor named Jaranara, and I have art for her, which will go back to our trials page. Whoop. And on the far right side of the map, top right, Janara.
Awesome.
Yes, as I said, I'm a big fan of the Noir. So whenever there's new art coming out from Paizo, I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like she's got on indeed some armor you guys can perhaps identify as temp weave in the form of like a business suit, and is holding a buzzblade dueling sword, perhaps on her waist there.
Oh, that's a sword. I thought maybe it was a chainsaw gun. I was
well,
not sure how that worked, but
This ain't Gears of War, Rebecca.
well, actually, Rebecca, one thing that you do know of the Noir is that they have specifically a form of technology that they often craft magical hybrid weapons and use them as kind of staves that are custom to each Noir who makes them. And these are called maze core. So it's possible that there's maybe integrated into this buzzblade a plasma pistol or something along those lines, because it's usually a couple of things forged together. 3 of her strongest workers will meet with you in the supervisor's office, kind of like the top floor of the corporate building right above the mine, and she'll introduce herself and say, oh, welcome to this mining operation. Where all are you from?
That is it. We are from the Suscalan system, out in the vast. Although recently we have found ourselves in a place called the Forever Reliquary, a Hylax place of worship.
Hylax, you say?
Yes, Hylax has guided us here in a way. We have heard about your conflict with the neighboring Gorn, and we decided to reach out to you for possibly allowing you to give us the chance to be outside mediators in this conflict, to mediate on your behalf to try and come to a beneficial position for both sides.
Why don't you guys make me the 2 of you, sense motive check.
Oh boy, Rebecca's yours good.
Oh,
it's all right.
Oh, Rebecca's is apparently amazing. What'd you get? I was like, I saw a 6 on the dice. Like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's +20 on this.
Okay, good, because Devasho's not picking up the signals here. Indeed, the 3 men, the Nuar with Jaranari, she seems to maybe confer with as you guys are giving your pitch, but it seems like you're going to need to just convince her. Indeed, she is the head Nuar in charge, and is going to make the final decisions here about whether or not you guys can negotiate on their behalf. So it will be convincing Jaranara. That will be important.
Cool. You know, I'm realizing there was a stellar revelation I could have taken which allows me to use Charm Person, which would have been helpful here.
So that is actually going to give you a bonus later on down the line here, but you can start by making that diplomacy check to get them to agree.
Nervous. I'm so nervous, Rebecca.
Can I try to aid?
Yeah.
Aid first.
Nope.
All right, fail. All right, so it's just all comes down to Tyler and Devasho and Tyler's dice roll here.
Oh boy. I'm probably going to re-roll this if I don't do well. I'm really nervous. I rolled a 6.
I won't keep you in suspense because that's what it was on the other side there. DC 20 just to start off the conversation. She'll say, we don't need to bring no harm to those Goran tree huggers over there. If you all can do what we've not been able to do and talk some sense into them, then you're welcome to do it.
We are open to giving it a try. I think that we can find something that will work. What, if I may ask, what has your previous position been towards the Gorn?
Well, they seem to claim every rock and bush and tree is some part of one great old ecosystem that can't be touched, but we've got a growing operation here, and we're going to be looking to expand before too long. Every time we send out folks to recon and do some surveying of the land, well, we get an earful from them, and as well, you might think they're nice scientists and the like out there, but when they see us out in the wilds, they're carrying weapons with them. So we aim to do the same.
I see.
May I ask what resources you're after? What are you mining out here?
Yeah, she can lay out some schematics and things like that. There are a number of precious metals and things like that in and underneath this particular area of Nakondis, but there's also geological readings that say many of the things that are used to make Thatcherton fuel and things like that can be found here in the planets. Just takes a good old fracking and beating up the planet a little bit to get all the good juice out. Just squeeze the rind. Jaranara, as such, is pretty sure, and you can just glean this from talking to her, whatever kind of peace accord you guys are able to write up, will probably have to somehow on her end allow for that kind of expansion to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Devasha would assure her that they're not here to try and crush their industrialism. They're here to find a way for them to do the work that they need to as well. So
right, so she is willing to come back with you guys, and we can fast forward a little bit here to getting both delegations back to your tents that you will need to spend some time setting up, but not a inordinate amount of time. You can get back there faster and prepare for both parties to show up, and we'll head back to Sprouts and everyone else where you're able to receive in the Goran pavilion and their tent the 3 candidates that they sent to the negotiations, and I've got art for one of those 3 here.
Someone was anime inspired by this.
Well, we got the glasses kind of like cocked down a little bit, perhaps.
Yeah, the glasses and the way the coat is hanging off.
Yeah, it's very animated, the hair and everything. I mean, I say this.
Oh, it looks great
in full appreciation of this character.
Goran anime.
That is like every One Piece character that has a jacket. So, I mean, I don't know how they keep those jackets on, because they don't put the arms through the sleeves. They hang off the shoulders, and when they run, they just it just magically stays on. It's
And
Velcro.
And this person's name is Allison?
Alyson, and there's also Thrudir and Zephyr. Zypher. I'm gonna just copy and paste the names into to chat for the 3 Goran delegates. Alyson,
Zephyr.
Zieffre.
Zifre.
They're all wearing what seems to be formal white lab coats, though Alyson has a powder blue cloak precariously ready to fall off her shoulders.
And her lab coat is just open in the middle, revealing like a weirdly blue zone, which I'm pretty sure means she's like a Lovecraftian horror or something. And if she were to open that, we would all surely go mad.
Well, I do have to point out that like most of her, I guess it's not really skin, but whatever this would be, but her skin is like brown and green, except on her face, which is like a flower almost, because it's like a blue bloom on her, like it just covers her face, you know?
Yeah, super blue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks like petals or feathers or something.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of both Nuar and the Goran, so it's interesting that these are the 2 species out here, kind of at odds with one another. Thrudir is don't have art for her, but dark green hair vines are loose, wearing them long, catching them all in the sunlight, and Zephyr has layered purple petals over her face, often rustling them with anger. While you guys, Team Goran, are getting to know them a little bit better, they introduce themselves when they come to your camp. Why don't you guys make me a sense motive check? Okie dokie.
Team Goran, sense motive, go. Oh,
3. Man, I forgot Miles was a detective.
Oh, whoops.
Right. Yeah, 31 for Sprouts.
Yeah, I mean, you technically could have failed this, but you get some more information if you exceed the DC of this by 4 or more, which, believe it or not, you did. Unlike the Nuar side, you're pretty sure that the 3 of them each needs to be convinced in order for negotiations from the Goran point of view to move forward. And
how do you mean, like they each need to be convinced that the Gorans or that the compromise will work? Like they have to be unanimous? Is that what you're saying?
Basically. So one thing that you kind of gathered from their encampment is that there is not a governmental or hierarchical kind of structure. They seem to be just like everyone commune. Has their vote. Yeah, commune style. There's no single fearless leader, and there's no leader amongst the 3 here. So yeah, exceeding that DC by 4 or more. Indeed, also you can tell they seem to have different opinions about what's the most important thing that they're going to be discussing. So from Alyson, who seems to be a botanist, scientific arguments are one of the first things she brings up, whereas Thrudir, perhaps looking more towards the future of their settlement, asks a lot of ethical questions and brings up ethical arguments. And then Zephyr, perhaps most level-headed of all 3 of them, is bringing up pragmatic arguments of, well, what if the Nuar do this, or what if the Nuar do that?
Okay,
cool. I like the mining people. I
think Xenia likes these people. She went with the wrong party, I think.
Oh yeah, you totally did.
Yeah. Back the wrong horse once again.
Well, I mean,
maybe she's in a good position to bridge the gap because of that, right? Like
you're just in another
angles
tent, like 20 feet away. If you want to swap out a party member, go right ahead.
Meanwhile, Devasha's over here like, no, we should strip mine the whole planet. Yes, why should there be any compromise? I like you, Duranara.
Boy, we might need Zinnia to stay there to talk sense into Devasho.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's probably good for me to be with that.
Yeah, he needs an adult.
Oh boy.
Right. So, what would you guys like to do next?
So we're all at the same encampment now, correct?
Yes. Yeah. You're in separate tents currently, but you can bring the two sides together and start chatting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's go ahead and facilitate the meeting of the minds.
Well, do we want to talk about what we want to present or how we want to present it before we do? I don't know if the five of us want to meet before we bring them all in and try to come up with a game plan.
Yeah, do we have clear terms from both sides such that we can kind of come up with a proposal? We know the Nuar want to expand.
Yeah, so the Noir want to expand, and then we know that the Goran have three main issues: the environmental side of things, the pragmatic side of things, and the ethical side of things.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the things that we're going to have to answer. So the goal here is to allow the Noir to expand while also appeasing the environmental, ethical, and pragmatic, concerns that the Goran have.
So are we talking in character, or are we just kind of just conversing tabletop?
Right now I'm just table talking how we're going to try to present that to.
Well, what I'm saying is should our characters talk beforehand, or do we think that our respective sides will look at that suspiciously?
And we're mediators. I don't think that's suspicious for the mediators.
Yes, but we are also strangers. It's. I'm just saying it's something we should be aware of. I'm not saying that they're necessarily not trusting, but it is something that could come up. Should we try to kind of come up with a game plan ourselves? Since, like you said, Tyler, we are the mediators. We should kind of, we have all been given permission to represent the parties. So in Sprouts' mind, I would say that he would probably assume that we should, meet in the middle and chit chat before we're talking to our respective buddies, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I think Devasha would think the same.
Trust, Echo, y'all down to clown?
I'm in agreement.
So separate groups.
Well, we're gonna
meet in the middle.
We're gonna meet
with our
five of us are gonna meet and try to come up with maybe some proposed solutions to give to our camps to mull over, because we are here as the mediators. So the way I'm interpreting this is since we have been given the opportunity to represent, at least Sprouts has been given the opportunity to represent his camp, he sees that as, all right, well, let me talk to the person who's supposed to represent that camp, and then we'll kind of bring everything to not the leaders, but the decision makers, at least.
Sure. So, okay. You all coming together, chatting up. I will give you a preview of some of what you've grabbed from talking to these people now for an hour or so. We're going to call this hour number 4 of the day, the first hour of the negotiations. And, the sun has settled at this point, or set, I should say, in the west, and perhaps the sound of hobguards is overtaken by insects and things out in the forests here. It's fairly serene. Good time to get a chatting. From what you've said of Elyson, you are pretty sure that the health of this region and the overall health of planet Nakondas is of the most import to the botanist, and writing in provisions and talking with her about those would be a life science check. So indeed, Zinnia is in the wrong, definitely the wrong camp for that one. Talking to Through Deer, making sure that the treaty holds true to Goran principles and ethics. There's a lot of interpretation exactly of what those means, and guiding those will be culture or diplomacy, trying to explain them to a Nuar, for example. That would be the skills associated with that. And then finally for Zephyr in the Goran camp, making sure that there are provisions that would allow the Goran colony to expand peacefully with the Nuar and not, come to blows over future land disputes and things like that, would actually be a fairly pragmatic perception or survival check to kind of go over kind of existing and perhaps future land divvies. It's not just like, well, let's draw a line down the middle. You have to account for both of their needs, because the Nuar aren't interested in anything that is enriched in minerals, and the Condas or the Goran delegation, not flush with forest and flora and fauna. And then, like I said, on the other side, the Nuar delegation, Jaranara, also very important that they secure their future dig sites, their future mines. That will be an engineering check or physical science. And well, you did roll pretty well on that sense motive. I'll give you another one of these. It seems like Jaranara, from your talking with her, is not really a diplomat for sure. Is not really the is cut out for like desk work, where she's basically now. You take a look at some of her weapons and her armor, and it seems like she would much rather be in a fight somewhere. So perhaps that's one of the reasons why Hylax has sent you guys out here. Putting her at ease and, backing her down from a fight with these Gorans would be to perhaps swap war stories if she realizes you guys are soldiers in some far off military. And that would be bluff checks or perhaps piloting checks to talk about starship combat.
Okay.
Not profession soldier.
I will allow profession soldier as well. Yeah.
I'll do a bluff check.
Right. So do you want to
right now?
Okay. Well, I will say each of these checks is going to represent about an hour of time, kind of schmoozing up your delegation. So,
well, based off that information, it definitely would make. I do think that I'm going to stand behind this bluff check of one. It's also, but two, Sprouts would notice that and know that to better facilitate any sort of diplomacy, he would need to soften up Jaranara. Yeah. So he'll probably regale the tale of Midnight Company being stuck inside a giant swarm and finding our way out of it and getting through everything at the last possible second. I mean, it hits all of the classic action movie tropes with what we went through.
Just like this adventure path did.
So I feel like that might impress the Nuar.
Oh yeah. And like I said, it's really putting her at ease here, and that will do it. So this is the hour number one of you guys kind of chatting them up. Who else wants to make a roll here?
So hold on. How have we split up? Because we don't have everyone in the same room right now, right? Like, we're going to have some people talk to the three scientists and some people talk to the soldier lady.
You guys can go back and forth. It doesn't have to be everyone the same hour. I will recommend probably Zinnia sticking to a license. I don't know if anyone else has life science.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have a plus 20 to every single one of the skills that you just checked off. So
okay, maybe you're the switch hitter then. I don't know.
And I have a plus one.
But
to
do we have
half
enough
of them?
Do we have enough hours to where she can just take 10 on all these to get a 30 and just be done in like 6 hours?
What we really want is to have them softened up enough so that we can all meet and give our pitch, and they'll actually listen to it.
Pulling back the curtain here, you have to convince both sides, and that is going to be a diplomacy check towards the end of this, sign the contract for both. So you can't just focus on one side or the other, or it'll be an S tier rating for satisfactory and not an E for exemplary.
So, Patrick, by softening up, Charanhara, does that give like an extra bonus to a future diplomat role, or?
Yeah. So that will be for their side, for the Nuar side.
And for Charanhara, we still have the engineering or survival role to do, and then we have a life science, a diplomacy, and a culture check to do on the Goran side. The only thing Devasho could possibly contribute to this is a diplomacy role on the Goran side, and that's it. So
I think it's perception, right? Isn't it?
Or
life
diplomacy.
science perception. Oh, was diplomacy an option too?
One of them in looking at the pragmatic one, looking for more spaces for future subsections of the Goran colony, will be survival or perception.
Oh, survival or perception?
Correct.
I thought you said diplomacy somewhere.
Yes, that will be for Thrudir, who indeed checking that the final treaty holds true to Goran principles is culture or diplomacy. And that's mainly translating kind of their culture to where Nuar will respect and agree.
I don't think my diplomacy is going to be better than somebody's culture check, though.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be. But in regards to what Devasho can do, pretty much stuck with that only one. So
yeah,
I kind of feel
you might want to be the diplomacy role. I don't know how many hours we have to make these arguments here.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, I mean, how many do we have left in our day?
So in the day after this hour, 8. No, what's 7? But do you think these people are going to wait here for 7 more hours while you try and talk to them?
Right.
Might be.
I mean, I guess what I'm thinking, Tyler, is Devasho's diplomacy might not be the highest in the group, but if we're trying to do lots of things at the same time, you might be the highest that that doesn't have one of those other key skills.
Yeah, because I don't have squat for
because you've got a great diplomacy score, that right?
And I can use Sidereal to get an extra 1d6. As long as I don't roll 2 ones in a row, and again, I should do well.
Yeah.
Well, let's. Do you want to try and talk to?
Yeah.
Thrudir.
Yeah. Why
no,
not?
Sorry, Zephyr. For oh no, I was right. Thrudir. Did you want to do diplomacy?
Yes.
Thrudir. Yes, the older of the Goran delegates.
Can this be assisted?
Excellent.
It can be, but then you won't be able to roll another skill check that hour because you
have a good survival, don't you?
I have a -1 to survival.
What about perception?
Perception, I have a +10 too, so that might be
okay. Maybe
better.
Yeah. Anything going on for? Are there any opportunities for maybe a mysticism or something?
I will say, if we want to try and force some other skills in here, they'll be a lot more difficult. So, if you want to try and substitute some, there'll be a penalty to your skill check or the DC.
Yeah, I've got some perception and survival.
Okay,
I can sort of work out. Echo, if you wanna take one of those, I can take the other one. Try to convince this guy that there's good land under that land.
I can also help. I can do a survival check for somebody too.
So that would be in previous or in subsequent hours, Mal, because you've already rolled for this hour. So go ahead and someone make me a roll.
I'll try the diplomacy.
Diplo 3D.
And I rolled a 2.
You goofed up bad, and
I mean, I'm thinking
you drew the line so the Nuar have
I'm thinking.
I'm thinking. You talk about Goran and their culture, and
I'm just gonna re-roll this.
Maybe the Nuar will like to eat you someday.
I'm gonna re-roll.
If you
this.
play your cards right.
Reroll, book reroll?
Yeah, I'm just gonna book re-roll this because I can't.
You can't do worse than
I want to do
There's
one cool
There's no
thing.
number lower than a 2.
And we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna roll the sidereal influence first.
Oh,
Okay.
give you a little pep talk before.
Yeah. First, maybe this will get like max
Hey,
sidereal.
see, there it goes.
See, this is already looking better. Now I will roll the diplomacy now we have a shot of this is a morale boost, and we'll land on a 6. Better, so 26 altogether.
Hey, a 6 is better than a 2. Spoiler warning. DC 25. Yeah! Success on the Goran side for Devasho. Diplomacy success.
Still haven't rolled over single digits this episode. Just FYI, listeners.
Oh, we're keeping track. We're at home, listening. Oh boy.
Echo, you wanna try talking to one of these guys with some perception or some survival?
Not survival. Once again, -1 on survival. Never survival.
Okay, you go perception.
There was an engineering one. Are you better at engineering? Perception?
Honestly, perception is the one that I would need.
Yeah.
The best. Okay. Then go
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
my best. All right, here we go.
I believe.
Natural 20.
Oh, what a clutch roll.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, also a success. So we've got 2 on the Goran side this hour.
Can I life science to talk to Allison? Elison?
Yes, and you can take 10 on this and succeed in doing so. If you want to roll, you can, but
I'll roll for fun. It's a 32.
fun. Technically, you can fail if you slip up, maybe, but yeah, not going to happen this time. As that is indeed a 3rd success for the Goran side. Excellent.
Yeah, and we need to convince all 3 of them.
So, no single one of them will give you an overarching edge. They want to see all 3 of their voices kind of represented in the final document. So, you've succeeded this round so far. So, Tress, do you want to try and roll something on the Nuar delegation? We've got engineering still, I believe, over there. Perhaps.
Yikes.
Actually, you haven't really spoke with them too much. Do you want to maybe do a sense motive check as well?
Yeah, let me try that. I mean, is that going to count as my hours actions?
Nope.
Okay. Just a quick check. That's my second roll of the night. Second natural 1.
Y'all need to reset
Excellent.
caches. Come on.
So besides the physical things that they want kind of represented,
if they want something physical, I got something physical for them.
what'd you roll?
Oh, not even a good athletics check.
Let me do a backflip off this truck's shield.
I'd land on my face.
Pull
I'm
the
sorry,
muscle
gang.
flexing.
Right.
I will say, even with the failed sense motive here, you can always try diplomacy with Jaranara as well to get her to look at the treaty and talk about like borders, perhaps giving up like certain territories for financial compensation, things like that. So if you want,
that sounds like a good idea. Just sort of a down the middle, straight negotiating, horse trading situation. 22 is what I rolled.
that will not be enough, though, unfortunately.
Okay.
This hour. All right, so we've got a number of bonuses on the Goran side. One with Sprouts on the Nuar. How do we want to head into hour 2?
Xenia is going to go and talk engineering with the Nuar.
Okay.
Talk about mining strategies and
All right.
especially environmentally friendly engineering or mining strategies that she might want to employ.
Go ahead and make me that roll.
Oh no, it's a natural one.
One on the dice. There's only a few numbers you could have rolled that would not have given you that success, and that was going to be one of them. just go ahead and I had already written down.
You shouldn't have said environmentally.
Oh,
friendly.
wait.
+2
Does that count? Well, wait. Does that count as recalling knowledge?
Oh no.
Nice try. No.
Good one.
No?
No.
Recalling knowledge about engineering tactics? No? Okay.
No. Nope. Just a general engineering or physical science check to give them insurances that this final treaty indeed will allow their mining operation to expand. Sprouts, do you want to continue to ply the Nuar supervisor? Or?
Well, yeah, I think so. Is no one else talking to the plant folk this round?
Devasho's over there just chatting away, but he's not making any inroads.
Okay. Well, yeah. So Sprouts will continue to chit chat with the Nuar, and I'm gonna roll bluff, I guess.
Well, this is engineering.
Oh, this is engineering,
right, Patrick?
No, we already did that and failed.
Oh, okay. Oh, we can do these multiple times.
Each skill can only be succeeded once, I would probably say. But.
Oh, okay. Then I'll roll survival then. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was looking at my notes. Did you want to talk to the Nuar?
Yes.
There's no survival with her. We're going to take the bluff check to. You want to tell more war stories?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So once per hour, right? Like, so he bluffed in the first hour. Now he can bluff again.
Okay. Then sorry. Forgive me for listening to Tyler.
Yeah, no, and
I got confused. Patrick said it, and I got confused. Why did you know me, bro?
I don't know. It's fun.
We're all on the same side, boys.
Once again, survival check is for the Goran side, and that's for Zephyr.
Okay. Then Sprouts is going to continue to tell war stories for the Nuar.
And you're getting
jazzed up.
I mean, you've talked to this Nuar woman for hours now, and you're getting the sense that the looking strong and looking like she is ready for a fight in front of her 3 strong men who've come with her, who all have armor and weapons on themselves, is really important to Jaranara, and basically can't let anything into this final treaty that would make the Nuar, their company, seem like they were taken advantage of. But you can tell kind of in the back, she doesn't want war with these Goran people. Like, she doesn't want any undue violence to happen here. Great. Let's go on to the Goran side, or does anybody want to try and roll diplomacy with Jaranara?
I didn't even know that was an option.
Yeah, that's what Tress tried last hour and didn't make headway.
Oh, by the way, as a biohacker, I can give people +2 on these skill checks. So if there's something that we want a bonus on, I have limited syringes, I guess, but.
So when it comes to that, and this is a weird thing, and it may not be worth it, but I can roll 2 diplomacy checks and take the better of them twice a day. Now, my diplomacy is currently +2, so this would be +4, and not nearly as good as anybody else rolling diplomacy for this.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can't even meet the DC with a +4. I don't think. The DC's 25.
If you wanted to aid someone, it'd be pretty easy aid, but it's up to you.
Well, if I aid, I can't help in either way. But
what would you like to do this hour, Drew? Do you want to go back to looking at the ley lines, the survey maps, things like that?
Yeah, I can do that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can do to help, because my highest skills are like I could teach everybody how to do a push-up or how to do a cartwheel, but I don't think that's going to help anything.
Those are cool.
Or I could intimidate everybody, but. Now we'll do perception again. 18.
That's going to be a fail, unfortunately. No bonus this hour. Devasho?
I guess I'm just going to keep talking about Goran ethics.
Diplomacy.
Doing the sidereal first thing.
Yeah, do it first, man. We'll see how this is going. A 4 on a D6.
A decent.
Pretty good.
I rolled a 3 on the dice. I just can't win, man.
Dice.
We're all rolling really poorly this episode.
Tress, do you want to come in and try and save Devasho here on diplomacy? Do you want to try a different skill? Mind you, you can also chat up with Allison besides life science with physical science. I'm not sure. Ooh, how you rank
Have we had any successes this round?
Sprouts. Yeah, Sprouts did.
Good job, Sprouts.
All I do is win.
No, I think.
Oh, wait, I did well in life science. Okay. So we got 1. Well, that was last hour, though.
Yeah. This hour. Just Sprouts with the Nuar, but
yeah, I mean, I'll come in. I see Devasho sort of not making headway there, and I've talked to this guy once before. I feel like we have a rapport going, and I'm gonna come up and try to back up my friend here and try to smooth things over. Oh, another 22. Keeping that rapport going.
Not as good, unfortunately. But we got 3 successes with the Goran delegation so far, and a couple with the Nuar. We got 2 with Jaranara. So not too bad going into our 3 of your discussions. Let's speed these up. Who wants to go first?
I'll do engineering again. Try a different idea for their mining escapades.
Yeah, you might get it this time. Who knows?
It's a 23.
Can't you take 10? Shouldn't you take 10?
Can I?
I mean, you were able to take 10 with the life science one, and you rolled like the gambler you are anyway. But I don't know if take 10 was an option for
10 is an option here. Yeah.
Yeah, then I'll take 10. I mean, which would give me a 30.
Yeah, that will be enough. It's so funny. I was looking at the 3D dice and I was like, how did you fail that? Because it's a 10 on my screen.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't.
Maybe that is Roll20's way of saying stop rolling all these dice.
Rebecca's like, I know I can automatically succeed, but I want to critically succeed. I want these 30s. I want these 40s. I want a 40.
Sprouts, do you want to continue with Jaranara? Do you want to move to the other side? Goran?
How much failure have the Gorham been subjected to?
Failure? I don't know.
Like, have we passed any rounds recently there?
No.
Okay.
We didn't get any successes on their side.
Right now, you have about equal successes on both sides of the delegation.
And they're what, diplomacy and life science and survival?
There's diplomacy, life science, survival, perception. Okay,
then yeah, Sprouts will hop on over there and chit chat with them using survival. That's the 32.
There you go.
Check.
Obviously, a huge success.
Yeah.
Talking with Zephyr. So I'm gonna write that down. +2 Sprouts. Okay, Tyler, do you want to try your luck here again? The old and wizened through dire.
I'm just gonna go.
Oh, Tyler, you got to roll that D6 first, sir.
Didn't help last time. I rolled a 3. So you know what I'm just
you rolled
gonna
a 4
say?
this time.
You know what I'm just gonna say? I'm just gonna say this game is mean to me.
I think it's the dice. The game is quite loving. Actually, we get to find new friends here.
Don't worry, Devasho. I'll help with the diplomacy.
Oh boy!
Save me, Tress!
Yay!
Oh,
so
there we go.
Tress is my diplomatic hero.
It rolled from a 1 to a 19 to a 1 to a 19. And then on the dice, excellent. 3D dice are our best friends. Who hasn't rolled? Oh, Echo 7, of course.
So what have we done on both these sides so far?
We've done the perception and the survival. We've done the diplomacy. There's life science, physical science. You can boost in. You can try your hand at diplomacy on the Nuar side if you want.
I don't think I'm gonna get that.
There's bluff, or piloting.
Profession soldier? You don't have profession soldier?
No, I'll do a piloting though. My piloting and my perception are similar. And
Okay, so maybe talk about some starship battles, putting Jarenar's mind at ease.
yeah, let's talk about when I a critical shot on some ship somewhere. That's a 17.
Aw, she's interested, but is maybe at this point, hour 3, ready to move on.
I couldn't
get
land the
this
story. I couldn't nail
contract
the story.
signed. All right, hour 4. We have 2 more successes on the Goran side than you do on the Nuar. Mind you, you're gonna have to make an equally difficult diplomacy check at the end of this for both delegations. So
we need more successes on the Nuar.
Yeah.
All right.
well, if you want it to
we're
be even, yeah, you want to focus on the
We're on a new hour, correct?
hour 4.
All right, then Sprouts will mosey on over there and I guess bluff some more war stories. maybe regale them of some special cases back on Absalom Station.
It sounds like made up stuff where you're like, I climbed inside a giant mech and tore off a huge
I just rolled a
swarm's
35.
jaw.
So
But
There you go.
you might as well be telling the truth. All right, another success for Sprouts. Do you want
All
to
right,
continue?
Xenia. Oh,
Continue?
sorry.
You want to continue?
Xenia's
Take
going
10. here?
Yeah, I'll take 10 on this, and I'm moving on from mining tactics to waste disposal, and giving her some advice on how to engineer a better solution for that.
Okay. Does anybody want to try diplomacy with Jarenara? Talking about those same maps that you've been looking at on the Goran delegation side.
Yeah, I'd love to help out as best I'm able.
So I imagine you're like bringing the maps back from the flowery Goran delegation's tent,
Right.
and there's like scribbles of like, here will be a sanctuary and here will be a nature preserve.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if these are going to be acceptable compromises for both parties. Absolutely not.
Oh man, with great aplomb, Jaredar just flicks the cap off of a bloody red pen and just starts marking on the map like, no, just X. It's like this tree nursery is gonna be our sludge pit, and let's go back to, we can get some more successes on the Goran side. Echo 7, Devasho. What do you guys want to roll over here?
I mean, I'm still. Go
We
ahead.
need more on the Nuar side, I feel like. Still.
I'm kind of tapped out, unfortunately, with skills,
more
unless you want to go back and try and roll that diplomacy again.
I won't ever make a diplomacy even with the natural 20, I don't think. So that's a bad call for me. I can't show off with some piloting or anything like that again.
Nope, that's already been succeeded. Come on, man, make that perception check. We believe in you.
All right, I'll do that. Here we go.
Rolled up 20 before, and you don't think you could do it again?
27.
Hey. Boom, bonus.
Look at you go.
Tyler, we're checking the numbers here in our studio and are realizing that you could have been also rolling or taking 10 on diplomacy here because of the sidereal influence, right?
I mean, my bonus to diplomacy is 14, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
With sidereal influence, it would be a 25 minimum.
Yeah, sidereal influence.
Yep.
You want to just go ahead and
Whoops.
your hours
No.
of failure
No,
turn them into
we're gonna
success.
roll it. No, we're gonna roll it.
Gotcha.
Tyler, don't do that. Tyler, don't do
Don't do this.
We're gonna roll it. No, listen. I need this.
He's gonna roll another 3. He needs that
I, the
3.
player, need this. I must stubbornly cling to the fact that the dice cannot betray me this way.
Oh boy.
If the dice betray you again, they betray us all.
Tyler, guess what? If you succeed at this one, I'm going to allow you to go back and re-roll the previous hour. So just because you're making this sacrifice, you're going back and trotting over the Goram history books with Thrudire, and
I can do this.
you can do it.
Let's see Sidereal.
No way you could roll 5 on the
Ooh,
D20.
Okay, well, Sidereal wasn't a 1. So,
Hey, it's 2. Yeah.
Got that going for you.
so here comes diplomacy.
Jesus.
2 on the dice.
Tyler, you pronking.
Imagine if this was a combat episode.
What's happening? I'll be dead.
Everyone except Sprouts.
Okay, well, let me just go ahead and erase what I've written down here. Hour 5, and
No,
that's
Tyler, you can't make this up. No, you can, because you invented this scenario by not just taking 10 like we just figured out we can do.
But I want it to be cool like
the thing
Rebecca.
is, we can make this up because we made it up before you made this decision. Like, oh, I love you, buddy, but I am disappointed in you.
Tyler always get a hard mode. I'm Tyler. I'm in a hard mode. Oh, I can take 10, but I'm gonna roll.
This is so much better. This is so much better, though.
you know what's funny is
Y'all ever want to know what it's like being a Destiny raid with Tyler? This is it.
Oh,
there is, for most of these things, very little chance for you to have a critical failure kind of in this instance. It hasn't come up yet because you've been kind of sticking to your guns. But if you ever roll 10 below one of these skill checks, you get a negative for the hour of work. So you guys are doing pretty well so far, and you've not earned any of those. So let's finish strong going into hour 5, as both parties seem like they've been talking enough and they want to get to writing up these papers.
All right.
So final hour warning here, perhaps without some major negatives going forward. Tyler, I feel like I want to start with you just to get you out the way here a little bit.
Get his evilness out of here so that we can.
Now remember, Tyler, this is for a bonus on another check, and you are allowed to take a 10.
Okay, cool. It's bewitched.
Tyler, I love you. I need you to.
Tyler, it's simple math. It's simple math. I give you a choice between would you like to win or would you like to probably lose? And you said, I'd like to probably lose, please. Thank you.
Can I give up my book reroll just to make Tyler take 10 on this?
We're moving on, folks. I almost slipped unconscious laughing so hard there. We are moving on. That's why I wanted to do it first. Oh, someone else.
So are we even, or who needs an edge?
Currently, there's a great deal of success on both sides. Let me do the math here. Currently, there's a single extra success on the Goran side.
All right, so that I'm gonna tell the freaking cow folk another war story.
Okay, and once again, you can take 10 here as well. So we'll speed things up if you want to.
All right, I am. Trest is gonna just watching Devasho just repeat the same argument over and over and over again. But Trest has no room to talk because he keeps doing the exact same thing. And he's gonna try diplomacy one more time. I swear to Jesus. The difference here is, gang. The difference here is.
Did I not
have
go?
The option to choose. I didn't have the option to choose take 10.
Oh, okay. I took 10. Is that what I did?
Yes.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was
concluded. If you can assume to take 10, please. Xenia, do you want to roll or not roll engineering as well, or do you want to move to the other camp?
Let me take 10 on engineering. Thank you. Also,
thank
can
you,
Zinnia
Rebecca.
give Devasho an admonishing, like take him to the side and be like, "Come on, we've got to
Yeah.
be more calculating here."
Does Sprouts get an award for passing every single round?
I'm going to. I think Drest is going to fart in a jar and like leave it in Devasho's inbox for this.
I think Devasho is going to have to find another eye after this whole thing is over.
Ty or Drew, you're our last here. Do you want to try and work with Thrundir, who's only had a single success in her camp by rolling diplomacy or culture?
So I've got a +4 to culture. I've got a +2 to diplomacy. I would need to roll so exceedingly high that I don't know that that's going to happen.
Yeah, that is true. You'd have to roll extremely high here. I will say no negatives for both Devasho and Trest rolling those. Do you want to go back to perception?
Yeah, I think that's the only one I can reliably do.
Yeah.
I could try to intimidate, but I don't know that that's a good idea at this point in the negotiations.
Sign it!
No, I think perception is going to be the safer move here.
Go for it.
That's a 20.
All right. Well, no negatives here, but no major success. Okay, let me do some math here as we're tallying it up.
Look at all this math Patrick has to do, Tyler. Look at all this math. Look at his face. He's so confused because of all this math.
There's so much math. Yeah. Okay.
He's got calculators, adding machines.
Beep bop boop. My abacus is out here.
Leave this uncomfortable silence in the episode. Don't edit it out.
So all I wanted to do was scroll back through my history and write down the result of every D20 roll.
Yeah, no, it was all single digits. We know. We saw it. We were there.
Yeah, but just to run it down, it was 1 6 2 6 3 4 2 3. I mean, I am not a.
Yeah.
I am not a statistics
you,
man.
Tyler.
And Tyler, we learned about halfway through that you could just take 10 on these, and you still didn't.
No, that was the last two. Okay, no, I'm not. I mean, yes, in the last two, I technically didn't need to roll, but it's fun. No. It's more fun. I just want to roll a number.
All right, guys. I've tabulated.
Okay.
Your bonuses for each group, and you're gonna have to craft this agreement, this settlement, this treaty for each of them, and make a final diplomacy check for each group. And that's going to require two sides, and for you guys to make one diplomacy check for each group, attempted by a single PC on each side, though one other PC can aid.
Can I do the final check?
No.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Well, I mean, I still think Tyler has the best diplomacy.
Yeah. Outside of Miles, he has the best diplomacy. Tyler's allowed to do it if he'll take 10.
If he doesn't take 10, he's fired from the show.
I don't need to. I can obviously auto aid. That's fine.
We need one on each side, right?
Right.
Yes.
So we need a success for both groups, and you're the one with a plus 14. Obviously, Miles has a really good one. I can auto aid somebody, but that's about
we'll
it.
say you get a plus 12 bonus on the Goran delegation side to this diplomacy check, and a plus 14 on the Nuar encampment.
Okay, well then
Tyler's
going to roll for the Nuar.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll
Except
auto
I'm
succeed.
not rolling at all. I'm just gonna take 10.
Do you know what the DC is?
If I see your mouse go towards a die roll, Tyler, I'm gonna end you. It's gonna happen.
Well, but here's the thing: is taking 10. I mean,
Yeah, if I can take 10, obviously.
I don't think we're going to be able to on this one, to be
Not on
honest.
this one.
okay,
Yeah, because this one, there is, a lot of pressure on the line here.
Gotcha.
Not
That's what I
saying you
figured.
can't go back to the negotiation table if they don't agree to it or if one seems trepidatious, but they're going to have to make some rolls here. And I think they're going to be pretty important ones. I will say if someone does have a book reroll and want to share it with your partner, you can, because at this point we've already used book rerolls for Tyler and Jabert. Right.
Is
So
someone else able to auto aid?
yeah, let's start off with the Nuar encampment. Who wants to back Devasho there?
I mean, I would say probably me, just because I can auto aid. So
Right.
we can guarantee you a plus 18 to your check.
In
So-
addition to my normal bonus.
So I'm going to keep giving the same quality of diplomacy that I have in this whole episode. Just to say mediocre.
Sorry, is that plus 18 with perhaps Xenia's help? Some chemical aids?
Sorry. I thought you said only one person could
With
aid.
Xenia as a biohacker can also stick
The
somebody with something.
bonus is plus 14, so if you auto aid, that'd be plus 16.
And
Yeah, if I can stab him with a whatever it's called, a booster.
I'll allow it.
Do it.
Okay, so that's 18 from that, and then I get my typical 14. So it's a total of what? 32?
32, right?
So 1d20 plus 32. I'm going to do it that way instead of the other way. I'm going to roll Sigirial first. Get the d6 out of the way. Less entertaining. So 3.
So plus
Uh,
35.
So plus 35. I'll just do it like that.
So, peel back the curtain here. There are a couple of DCs here. One of them is a S tier DC, and one of them is that E tier, and you really need to hit that E tier. That's what we're talking about here. So, go ahead and roll, and I'll tell you what we're hitting.
Okay. This is 1d20 plus 35. And I rolled a 15. I did it.
That's a success.
Tyler, you're back in the band.
Back in the band.
Man, at the 11th hour, we really needed that.
Double digits on the dice, baby. Whoa, look at you, Tyler.
I'm breaking the bank with this roll. I'm throwing out my future child's college tuition money. Gone.
All right, just
all for the dice.
roll me for this Goran delegation here, Miles, and let's get done with this episode.
All right. So I have a plus 12 to my regular. Correct?
Probably plus 14 with an aid.
Okay.
Just go ahead and roll it.
I can stab him too.
All right.
I'll allow it.
Diplomacy. Oh, I'm gonna re-roll that.
Well, let's hold on here. Boop. Meth. What did you roll?
That's got an 18
Plus.
plus
32.
plus 32.
I'm sorry. You want to book re-roll? Is that what you're saying?
Let's see.
Well, hang on. Is this? I know you can't. You probably won't say, but if we could succeed with an aid with this, would that push him over the limit?
I don't think so.
Oh no, I was already just factoring in that you aided. Book re-roll, Miles.
So 18 plus 13. Yeah, I'm gonna have to book re-roll. I don't think there's enough.
You could do better than a 3 on the dice, right?
I hope so.
He
4.
could literally do better than the 3 on the dice.
Oh no,
Miles, you're out of the band.
I flew too high and burnt the wings. I've been rolling rocks all episode, and I'm paying for it now.
You know what, Miles? These things happen. It's
I
not your
don't
fault.
want to. I don't want to hear a word from you. I don't want to hear a word from you.
You pulled your weight all session long. This is nobody blames you. This is
Tyler,
this is
you're
fun.
out of the band too.
I don't.
Devasho comes back with a signed contract. by
I
the
see this
Noir.
smile on Tyler's face the entire time
I'm
he's
being
talking.
nice. I'm being super nice.
That
And
laugh says
you get
nothing.
2 signatures, Miles, from the Goran delegation, but you know who the holdout is, right? It's Thurindir, who Tyler messed diplomacy up on all day long, who is the single holdout. Now, you can let them sign this because that is technically ratified by them, that is not the S tier solution. If you want to go back and talk to them for another hour and try to get them all to resign, you can re-roll that again. The DC is a little more difficult, though.
Would it be just them to re-roll or all the parties to re-roll?
Just them, I believe.
And what was that survival roll?
No, this is diplomacy.
I mean, I feel like
culture, right? Or wait, what? Oh, we don't have to
we are
do any of the other
taking-
checks. It's just diplomacy.
We're taking the next hour just to talk to Therandir to convince them to sign.
Okay, but it's the same thing.
But all of the checks are higher than they were before.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the one check is higher.
This check,
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like if we have the time, we should take that time, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. I'll offer you an auto aid.
So you can switch up sides here. So easy enough. Another plus 16 to your roll here, Miles.
All right.
Third time's the charm.
Doubtful.
Oh, natural
20.
Destroys it.
Technically one better than the other side did with that 51 magic. I will say mainly you want to get that E tier. Doesn't sound right saying E tier rating because both parties, after looking over this into the wee hours of the morning here, finally all shake hands after they see what you guys have drafted up. The document is, both digital, there's physical papers that are signed, and represents something that could probably last 100 years. From your diplomacy and from your talking it out with them over the course of the day here. Both sides, of course, agree to the treaty, and from their vehicles that they brought with them, Alyson brings in gifts for both the Nuar and you all in the form of rare plant seedlings and cuttings worth about 9,000 credits.
Nice. Let's go. Money. I need
Throw them
money.
away.
No!
These are things that are like non-invasive, like super spreader plants that the Goran have kind of domesticated as far as plants are concerned over the course of many generations. And they are indeed worth a great deal for seeding kind of like barren planets and things like that. And you're pretty sure bringing them back to the SDF or getting them somewhere where they could get back to Susquehanna eventually might be nice if you can get the planet back from the swarm.
Nice.
Not to be outdone, one of the strong men, a Nuar named Bornim of the Nuar delegation, steps up and finally gives Echo 7 the arm wrestling match that he's wanted this entire time. But win, lose, or draw at the end, takes his own personalized custom maze core and hands it to you. And it is like a huge battle staff, and there's two parts to it. One is a Red Star plasma rifle, and the opposite end, a Red Star plasma Doshko.
I don't know. Watch out. This sounds suspiciously like a Spear of Fates.
Yeah, this sounded real.
That juju on me. Don't you put that juju. Right. Fast forwarding a bit here, you guys can see both delegations kind of parting the pavilion in peace as perhaps a few hours later the sun begins to rise again in Nakondis's east. And you guys can step through the portal one more time, going back to the Forever Reliquary as the Hobgars in the distance hoot out the morning mist. To be continued in trial number 3. Chon chon chon. Next time
Can we all promise to never do that again?
I cannot imagine a more riveting skill-based episode. You just got to get a Tyler in your party, and this can happen.
This fulfilled every promise that I think you made about it being the most compelling episode of Cosmic Crit, and you did it. Good job.
Every time you see,
I can't believe we fired Tyler. It's just a whole thing.
Yeah, I want to say I've enjoyed my years here on the show. We've been going 3 years. Y'all have become some of my best friends.
Tyler's next character has got to be an envoy. We've got to make him do skill checks.
That's his punishment.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for playing with me.
Thank you,
Thank you, Patrick.
Listeners, I hope you're enjoying these trials. They're not going the way. Not going exactly as planned, but I'm still enjoying them.
Wow.
We'll see you next time on Cosmic Crit. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Cosmic Crit. This episode has been made possible through a sponsorship with Roll20 and the backing of our Critamander fans on Patreon. Thanks again and have a great week.